Hey, Paula, did you buy Maria a new winter coat and put it on her before she went to school? That coat she had on this morning, that's new, right?
I bought that online because it was this month's special product and it was on sale.
I don't care where you bought it or if someone gave it to you. That's not what I care about. I honestly couldn't care less about this month or next month's special product. I already told you not to waste the money I worked so hard on for useless things just to try and look nice. Don't you remember that?
Well, it has been getting cold lately, so I thought I could get her a new one. Is that really something to fight over? It's just some cheap coat I saw online. It's nothing crazy.
She can just wear her coat from last year. Why do you have to buy her a new one? She doesn't need a new one. Is your head that empty that you can't understand even simple things like don't buy things that you don't need?
Ryan, Maria is growing and her body is growing because she's going through puberty. It's not like I bought her a $300 coat like other people usually do. All I did was buy her a $50 coat for winter because it looked nice and it was 80% off. Is that really something we need to be fighting about?
Last month, you bought her a new pair of shoes, and a week ago, you bought her a new sweater. Our daughter does not need a new clothing item every week. Plus, we can just try to give her hand-me-downs or get her used clothing since those are a lot cheaper. I know that you're sometimes an airhead, but how could you not even think of those kinds of simple things? We can't be spending money like how you are. I am working like a dog, sweating blood and tears just to earn money. And here you are, spending it like we can just pick money off tree branches.
If somebody hears you complain about my spending, they're gonna think that I'm wasting $5,000 every month. But all you give me every month that I need to budget is a measly $1,000. Don't act like you give me a lot of money.
Well, isn't $1,000 still money? Do you know how pathetic I have to be at work just to earn that $1,000? I have to always act like a servant to my bosses, and always have to be on the go to whatever they tell me to do. Plus, I always have to watch and listen to these guys who get promoted way faster than I do, and I feel like my eyes and ears are gonna bleed. I have to suffer so much just to earn money. The stress from work just piles up the moment my day starts all the way up until it ends. All this work stress is making my insomnia worse. And here you are just spending my hard-earned money like a princess, just staying at home and living life so comfortably. You should understand that I'm just so tired to earn money. Then you just complain about the money that I give you, saying that it's not enough. You are just so ungrateful.
Was I always a stay-at-home wife? No, I was working too. But I had to quit my work, where I was earning pretty good money because you had to be relocated by your company. I had to quit my career because of you, and had to take care of all the paperwork for Maria to transfer schools. All of that was also making me so exhausted. But of course, you never cared to understand how tired Maria and I are. All you care about is yourself. I told you that I could keep working even if it meant we only saw each other on the weekends, but you kept insisting that we have to live together because we are family. It has only been 2 months since I started this new lifestyle as a stay-at-home mom, yet you keep nagging me when I'm still adjusting to this new routine.
That's why I've been telling you to find a job here. Since you really don't want to stay at home, then you should just put in the effort to find a job in this place. If you really wanted to work, I'm sure you could find something to do and earn money. You are not a pig. You should not just lay down in bed all day and do nothing.
Ryan, we are here in the middle of nowhere in some countryside. There are barely any buildings here. Do you know how hard it is to find a job here?
Oh my gosh, Paula, now you're just coming up with excuses. Only lazy people will say there's no job to be done in the countryside. You know that there are fewer people living in the countryside, which means they need more people to be working, right? There are greenhouses here that need people to be picking strawberries daily. Or you could go to the local restaurant and apply for a waitress position, or maybe you can wash dishes there. There's even a local mart a few blocks down that needs a cashier. You can scan barcodes there and earn money. There's so much to do here to earn money. Saying that there is nothing to do is just an excuse.
Ryan, I have done office work ever since I started working, and you're telling me to do some farm work here? Or do work that I've never ever done before? If that was your plan, then you should have just came here by yourself. Why did you have to drag me here with you and make me suffer?
I really don't want to hear any excuses, so just hurry up and start looking for a job. Have you forgotten our family motto already? Those who do not work shall not eat. You remember that, right? Starting today, you can only eat twice daily until you find yourself a job. There are so many people who only eat one meal a day intentionally, so just eating one meal is doable. But I will be kind and let you eat two. Plus, just shower twice a week. No need to be showering every day. You aren't working anyway, so there is no need for you to clean yourself every day. Just do it once by the end of the week. Also, I saw on TV that people's skin improves and becomes healthier the less they shower, so that should be a plus for you. The water and gas bills these days are just super expensive, so if you guys just shower twice a week, we should be able to save a lot from that, don't you think?
If you really want to save up that much money, then why don't you do that yourself?
I am the one earning all the money, and I'm the head of the household. You think I should be held at the same standards as you? I have all the right to do whatever I want because I'm the one providing for you and our daughter, while you're not earning not even a penny. So you have no right to try and go against my words. I am telling you this again, but quit spending money so thoughtlessly and make sure you budget it right. You got that? If you get cold, don't use the heater. Just wear more layers underneath to keep yourself warm. And if it's still cold out, put some hot water in a bottle and use it as a handheld heater. Don't waste the electricity using the heater. It costs too much. When you go out to buy groceries, go before they close so that you can buy discounted ingredients instead of full price. Don't buy new clothes or shoes. Go to a thrift store and just buy used clothes. They're the same thing anyway, and they are way cheaper. When you're watching YouTube videos, avoid watching cooking videos, but watch money-saving tips instead. If you watch those cooking videos every day, it'll just heighten your appetite and make you want to buy food. That'll end up to our food spending, and we'll overspend if we do that. Are you listening to me? You heard every word I said, right?
What about you? You are the one who is not saving at all. You buy whatever you want and you always buy them new. Plus, you go out to eat with your friends and coworkers almost every 4 to 5 days. But here you are telling me and your daughter to save up, eat less, shower less. You are imposing your selfishness and self-centeredness on your wife and daughter like you have lost your mind. None of this makes sense, so I think I want to just end all this.
Hey Paula, was it you who ordered the some fried chicken? Have you been ordering delivery food while I was gone? You ordered this chicken, didn't you? I have been nagging you almost every day to save and save, yet you have not done so at all. Did you just let all of my nagging flow from one ear out to the other? Does it make you happy to be ordering all this food and pay for delivery using your husband's hard-earned money, even though he has been telling you to save up? It must be really nice just to sit pretty at home and do nothing, then order whatever you want using your husband's money. The money he earned by working like a slave. If I divorce you over this reason, because you are so bad at being a stay-at-home mom, you better not complain about one thing.
I bought that chicken with my own money. How dare you assume that is your money? I wanted chicken, so I bought some on my own. I paid for the entire price using my money, so stop being so childish and just leave me alone.
What? You want me to leave you alone? And what money? You aren't even working. Exactly with what money are you paying that food with?
What? Are you really that stupid to think that I don't have money? Have you ever thought about the many years that I worked before living like this? I have been working for 12 years since we got married, and you think I won't have any money saved up to buy that measly 6-piece fried chicken? If you couldn't even think of that simple context, how are you surviving at your workplace? With the inflation and everything, you think $1,000 is enough for us? Even if all we do is eat, sleep, and wake up, that's $1,000 is nothing. You know, you sound so pathetic enforcing your savings tips on your wife and daughter and saying you are the provider in this household. Just say you aren't earning enough, if that's the truth.
Wait, but didn't you say that you have no money at all? You said that the $1,000 I gave you isn't enough, so you've been using your own savings little by little? I really thought that you had no money left because when I asked you if I could borrow some money because my brother needed extra money to start his business, you said that you had no money left. You were really firm in telling me that you had no money left so that you couldn't help with that. Wow, I cannot believe you tricked your own husband with money. You are one cunning person, aren't you? You had money in your savings all this time, yet you couldn't help your brother-in-law who was having a hard time.
Your brother, who has no real plans and just does things on a whim, cannot be trusted. How will I know he will repay back the money I lend him? I just couldn't imagine giving him any money knowing that I might not get it back at all. So why in the world would I lend my savings and retirement money to an immature and financially illiterate brother-in-law?
They say that women are the most cold-hearted people in the world, and they were right about that. If you really had that much money, then hand it over to me and let me take care of it. I'll invest it and give you more returns than you could ever imagine.
There is no way I am trusting you with my money. I am smarter than that. It is much safer and better for me to put my money with the help of a financial advisor in the bank.
Put your money in the bank? That's barely gonna earn you anything. The interest will give you back just a few cents. Are you kidding me? If you aren't getting a lot of returns on your money, it's the same thing as not earning anything, and that'll get spent easily. Especially with someone like you who likes to buy new stuff and always ordering food. Your money will be gone in no time.
Are you still not over that one time I ordered food with my own money? I have enough money to buy myself and my daughter some delivery chicken, okay? So we will eat it happily and however we want.
That is what I'm saying. You are only a stay-at-home wife. How exactly are you affording spending like that? It costs so much for the delivery fee.
I am earning twice as much as you are, so please stop questioning how I have money to buy things I want to buy.
What? Twice as much? What exactly are you doing to be earning way more than I am? You aren't working at some bar or pub and getting money from old men, are you?
What? You are seriously so disgusting. You are the one out there giving out money to those poor girls working at the bar. Don't project your ugly self on me.
What did you just say? You better be careful with what you say.
You know, I've seen all those receipts from the bar, right? Like hundreds of them. I also saw so many receipts of you buying really expensive luxury bags and makeup. I saw it all. And that is actually not all. You even got her a place, and now you are having to maintain 2 households at once with 2 women? Is that fun for you? You barely have any money to spare, yet there you are trying to keep up with 2 separate families. And you tell me to eat less, spend less, shower less because you don't have enough money to give me? Yet you are the one overspending to betray me. You have no right to tell me what to do. You're less than garbage, full of bird poop for buying some random prostitute a $1,000 wallet. When you throw a fit at your wife for buying your own daughter a $50 coat that she needs so she doesn't die from frostbite, you're easily the worst human being ever.
Did you have someone follow me or something? You really are one scary lady. You surprise me every time.
I have been raising our child all on my own. Do you think I don't have the capability to do something like that on my own too? I gathered all the evidence on my own with my own 2 hands and feet. I followed you all the way from your work to that other girl's apartment and saw everything with my own 2 eyes. I somehow ended up talking with an older lady near the playground by the apartment, and she told me everything she knew about you.
Are you being serious right now? That old lady is so rude and will just blab about anything. You have to be careful about that old lady. They're the type to just talk trash about anybody if you're not a resident in that apartment complex. So I don't even believe that she cared to talk to you about anything. Stop lying, Paula.
She probably hated you because she knew what you were doing with that bar girl, and she realized how much of a trashy person you are. I am the legal wife, so when I asked her about that girl and you, what her apartment number was, and everything, and if she noticed when you started coming here, she told me everything. She was super ecstatic to tell me everything she saw, and she wanted to really help me out because she knew what kind of garbage you two are. She said that it didn't take long for you two to act like a couple, holding hands and laughing, like you weren't cheating on your wife and betraying your daughter. That old lady even took photos for me and sent them to me. She was ready to help me like I was her own daughter, and she wanted the best for me. I was super thankful for her help, and I was so touched at how caring she was toward me, knowing what I was going through at home.
No wonder I was always so wary of how those old ladies looked at me. They were always looking at me with the most hateful eyes. I can't believe at their age they would be doing something like that. But what now? What are we supposed to do about all of this? I earned the money I used. It was my own money. Is it wrong to use my own money how I want to?
You know what? You're right. I didn't do anything wrong, so let's just get divorced and then you can use all your money the way you want without anybody nagging you. Just make sure you're going to pay the alimony and child support so we can finish the divorce as fast and as smoothly as possible.
What? Divorce? Are you sure you're going to survive off of your little savings after divorcing me? Do you know how hard it is to live in this world without a man? You're just saying that because you haven't experienced a life without me.
A life with a man? A life where I feel safe, at peace, and secure? Are you talking about that kind of life? Well, I'll tell you this now. I never, not once, ever felt those while being with you. I was only avoiding divorce all this time because I didn't want my daughter to grow up without a father in her life. I didn't want her to be hurt and traumatized over something like this at her young age. You never made me feel safe or secure during our entire marriage. Never. You know that, right?
What? Are you trying to act all superior over me now just because you're 3 years older than me?
My mom told me not to marry a man younger than me, and I should have listened to what she said. I have been regretting that decision ever since. But still, I wanted to show my parents that I could take responsibility over my decisions, and so I had no choice but to endure the last 12 years that I was with you. But now I am at my wit's end. I just cannot do all this with you anymore.
Yes, sure, but how in the world are you going to raise my daughter and feed yourself if you divorce me? You won't have any money for that.
I have been investing for a while now and earning way more than you are. What kind of ignorance are you spitting out right now? My previous employer knows about what happened with me, so they were kind enough to help me invest my money. Fortunately, my previous workplace had a huge order last month and had super high profits, so I earned a lot from that deal too.
Is that true? Are you being serious right now? Then that is enough reason not to divorce you. Now that I know that you're this smart and intelligent woman, I will cut ties with that other girl and stay with you instead. But you know, I've always known it from the start that you are the woman for me. I always saw it in your eyes that you're such an intelligent and smart woman from the moment we first met. From now on, my eyes are only for you and no one else. You believe me, right? So please stop saying that we're gonna get a divorce. I promise, you, our daughter Maria, and I will live happily ever after, okay?
Yeah, sure. But you know, I am allergic to liars like you, so I am sorry to say that I cannot live with liars.
No, but Paula, how can you say something so hurtful like that? Remember our wedding day? We swore we'd be together forever, for better or worse.
Ew, don't make me vomit. You're the worst, and it's better to get a divorce. Just stay away from me. You disgust me. After what happened, I filed for divorce and got a settlement and alimony from my ex-husband. He insisted and tried to beg me not to go through with the divorce, and he thought he was going to get me to crumble and listen to him. 12 years ago, he wanted me to marry him, so he begged me and got me pregnant so I would have to marry him. Thinking back, he manipulated me back then too. But then 12 years later, he cheated on me and became this pathetic guy who thinks he can manipulate me into submitting to his own desires and just listen to whatever he says. I ended everything with a clean slate when my 12-year-old daughter told me very piercing words. Now that he is single and is living his life happily the way he wants to, he still hasn't left me and my daughter alone. He drinks heavily and calls me and Maria saying that he misses us badly. He whines and cries, the whole shebang. He says that he still has feelings for me, but those words mean nothing to me now. They have no power or influence in my heart anymore. It is hard for me to completely cut him off because at the end of the day, he will always be the father of my child, but from now on, I will never talk to him about anything other than him seeing his daughter from time to time. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe for more videos.
Morning, Luke. Summer break started this weekend for you kids, didn't it?
Good morning, Grandma. Yeah, it's finally summer vacation.
You're up nice and early. I thought you'd still be sleeping since it's a Sunday.
I wake up at 6 in the morning for school usually, so on weekends I can't help but wake up at 6.
I'm proud of you for waking up so early. You know, Grandma also wakes up at 6. It's very good for your health to wake up early. But remember to get enough sleep. You know what they say, early bird catches the worm.
Ew, Grandma. Worms are gross.
You're right, dear. Worms are pretty gross. Maybe they should change it to gummy worm instead.
Yeah, gummy worms are way better.
Anyway, I wanted to say thank you for coming along yesterday to see Grandpa at the cemetery. I know you maybe don't understand why grown-ups bother with stuff like that, but it made Grandma really happy that you were there. And even though Grandpa isn't here anymore, I'm sure he was happy you came to visit him too.
Really? If Grandpa was happy, then I'm happy too. Even though I got a bit sleepy when Uncle Hank was talking so much. I hope Grandpa wasn't mad at me for getting sleepy.
Don't tell anyone, but I got sleepy too. I hope he isn't mad at both of us. I can't help but get sleepy when people talk for too long, so don't worry.
Hey, Grandma? Grandpa passed away when I was 5 years old, right? Why did everyone get together again like that time at his funeral?
I see Mom and Dad didn't explain this to you, dear. See, Grandpa passed away 5 years ago, and in our family, we have a tradition of visiting the graves of any relatives that passed away every 5 or 10 years. Or at least we try to. Most of our family seems to be too busy to visit these days. Anyway, I know it's not something every family does, but we like to come together and remember our relatives that passed away.
Oh, I think I understand now.
That way, Grandpa doesn't get lonely, and we can all tell stories about when he was still here with us.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm glad Grandpa doesn't get lonely. But, Grandma, don't you get lonely without Grandpa around anymore?
Well, of course I get lonely sometimes without Grandpa here. But I remember that Grandpa is up there looking out over all of us, and he wouldn't want me to be sad. I don't want him to see me sad, so I try my best to keep smiling so he can see my smile every day.
I see. But Grandma, when you're home all by yourself, don't you get sad and lonely? I get kinda sad when I'm home alone.
Are you home all by yourself right now, dear?
Yeah, every day.
I guess with your parents working every day, you must be pretty lonely when you're home all by yourself, huh? We all get a bit lonely when we're all by ourselves sometimes. I know for me, I don't think about it too much when I go out for shopping or something. But when I get back and I'm alone at home, I sometimes get lonely without Grandpa around.
When that happens, what do you do, Grandma?
Well, I suppose that only happens when I get really bored. So when that happens, I'll keep myself busy by cleaning the house, cooking food, or watching my drama series.
So you just do chores to keep busy?
I guess you could put it like that. But that way I'm too busy doing things I like to be feeling lonely and sad. If it forces you to concentrate on something other than the loneliness, then it doesn't matter what you do. In your case, Luke, it might help to play video games or focus on your schoolwork. I don't mind if you text me either. That way we're both keeping busy. Grandma also gets bored of doing housework, you know.
So I just need to focus on something, huh? All right, I'll try that, Grandma. Thank you.
Don't worry, dear. Grandma used to hate being alone as a kid, too. But you're not alone. I'm always here to talk if you want to. It gets better as you get older, I promise. Grandma quite enjoys her time being alone. Who knows? You might like being by yourself too eventually. I promise there is nothing wrong with that.
Got it. I'll text you when I'm bored. Thank you, Grandma.
Anytime, my dear. Luke? Honey, were you at my house just now?
I don't know.
But I just saw a boy that looked exactly like you running out of my backyard. He was even wearing the same baseball cap I gave you last year. It was a bit dark outside, but I know that was you, wasn't it? Did you come into my house to eat the leftovers I had in the fridge? I won't get angry, sweetheart, I promise. Just tell me what happened. Why did you come into Grandma's house to eat food?
I'm sorry.
You don't have to say sorry, dear. I'm really not angry. Grandma just got scared when she heard someone in the kitchen so late at night. I was really surprised when I saw it was you. Could you tell Grandma why you were here?
I was hungry. I couldn't help it. I was so hungry I just needed to eat something. I'm really sorry, Grandma.
Honey, isn't there anything to eat at home?
No.
Absolutely nothing? No snacks, or cereal, or bread? Isn't there any leftovers or veggies or something?
There's nothing here. There's only tap water.
I don't understand. Why isn't there any food? Didn't Mom and Dad make you any food tonight?
Mom and Dad still aren't back home yet.
They're not back home yet. Luke, what do you mean? When did they leave?
They both left 5 days ago. Mom and Dad haven't come home since. I don't have any money. I didn't know what else to do. I'm sorry. I thought it would be okay if I took food from Grandma.
5 days? Honey, did they leave you completely alone this whole time?
Yeah.
Where did your mom and dad go? Do you know? Did they say anything before they left? Like when they'd be back, maybe?
I don't know. They left after I went to bed. They leave me alone a lot.
They've done this before. When did they start leaving you alone like this?
Yeah. Like, Dad started leaving me and Mom alone at home a lot since last year. And then Mom also started leaving me alone at home this year.
You're saying your parents leave you all alone at home like this pretty often? Without food?
Yeah. They do this a lot.
I can't. This is unbelievable. I'm so sorry this is happening to you, dear. You must be so lonely. If you told Grandma, I would have come to visit you immediately.
Mom told me not to tell anyone that I was alone at home. She said bad people would find out and come to take me away. That is why I didn't tell you, Grandma. She also said I shouldn't go out on my own. But I was so hungry. I just didn't know what else to do. I had to eat something. Mom made me swear. Now I broke our promise.
Don't worry, dear. You did the right thing coming to me.
I would have gone to the store to steal something instead, but I got scared, so I went to Grandma instead. I'm sorry for stealing your food, Grandma.
It's fine, honey. I forgive you. You didn't do anything wrong. I'm proud of you for coming to me instead of going to the store. I have a lot of food at my home. You don't have to feel bad.
I ate the chicken and potatoes you had in the fridge, though.
The roast chicken and potato bake? I bet it was tasty. Did you have some of the pea salad that was in the lower rack?
I did. It was really good. Mom never makes me any chicken. It was so good.
Poor Luke. You were really hungry, weren't you?
I was. I was so lonely without Mom there.
Is that why you asked me if I was sad without Grandpa around and how I handled it? I hope my advice helped, dear. You've been really brave for staying at home all alone. Grandma is really proud of you, you know? I'm so sorry for not noticing sooner.
It's okay, Grandma. When I didn't have food, I could still eat lunch at school during the week, so it wasn't that bad. If I ate lunch at school, I would be fine with no breakfast or dinner, because the lady at school always gives me extra helpings. But now that summer break started, I don't get to eat lunch at school anymore.
Luke, were you only eating one meal a day?
Well, sometimes Mom leaves me bread or frozen meals in the fridge, but I usually eat those on the weekends when I don't get school lunches. She also leaves me money to buy pizza sometimes. But recently, she stopped leaving me food and money.
Oh dear. When did Mom and Dad start acting like this? Do you know why Dad left last year?
When I started going to elementary school. They started fighting with each other a lot. Then Dad started staying away for the weekend, and then he stopped coming home after work. Mom started doing the same thing a few years ago.
Goodness, dear. That's terrible, Luke. I'm so sorry.
But Mom told me not to tell anyone. I broke my promise. I told Grandma everything, and I went outside. Now she's going to scream at me. What should I do, Grandma? I don't want her to scream again.
Don't worry about a thing, Luke. I promise Mom won't get mad at you. I won't let her scream at you again. Grandma will take care of everything, so don't stress, dear.
Really?
Of course! Grandma is coming to pick you up now. Is that fine?
No? Yeah. Are you sure Mom won't be angry at me?
Grandma will talk to her and sort this out, don't worry. I'll make sure to protect you. I won't let her scream at you ever again. If you're fine with it, how about you stay over at Grandma's tonight? Are you still hungry, dear?
Just a bit, yeah. Okay, I'll stay over at Grandma's.
Why don't we stop at the store to get some ice cream? You can have whatever flavor you'd like. Then we can have ice cream while we watch a movie. How does that sound?
What kind of movie?
Any movie you'd like, dear.
Okay, I like that. Thank you, Grandma.
Luke! Where have you gone? Answer me immediately. Oh, so you're finally back. You're not at home, I can tell that. Where are you? Explain yourself, fast. Just out for a little stroll, you see. What? Luke! I told you you're not allowed outside. What do you think you're doing? Don't you ever listen to a word I say. I made you promise not to go outside, and then you break that promise. When you get back, you're in a lot of trouble. I hope you understand what kind of punishment is waiting for you. Come home immediately!
Punishment? What kind of punishment?
Don't play dumb with me. You know what I'm talking about. If you keep having this attitude with me, I'm going to make you sit in the cold bath for 2 hours. You hear? And if you're not home in 15 minutes, I'm going to make you sleep in the basement again. Is that understood?
That's a bit cruel, don't you think? It'll be freezing cold.
If I don't punish you severely enough, you won't understand how bad your actions were. Clearly, you have to learn the hard way. Or what? Do you think I should give you an even more severe punishment? For back-talking to me this whole time?
You seem to be mistaken, Stephanie. You're not speaking to your son right now. This is your mother-in-law you're speaking to right now. It's been a while since we last talked, hasn't it? Huh? Marie? Is that you? Why are you using Luke's phone to respond? Where is he? Because he's currently staying with me. That's why. I went to pick him up at your house last night, actually. Why would you do that? See, your son snuck into my house last night scrounging for food. I'm so terribly sorry. I can't believe my son would do something so outrageous. I told him not to go outside, then he goes and does something like this. I'll come over right now to pick him up. No thanks. You can stay right where you are. He's staying with me. More importantly, I'd like to ask you a few questions about what you thought you were saying to Luke just now. I'm very curious about what this cold bath and sleeping in the basement was all about. Don't you agree that, whatever it is that you were planning to do, it was way outside the scope of disciplining a child? I just got a bit ahead of myself. I was just exaggerating a bit to scare Luke, that's all. I wasn't actually planning on doing any of those things. You know that, right? Steph, I know you're lying. Don't bother pretending. I can never trust a word you say. I know you're always lying about everything. And I know that neither of you look after your son properly. He's been mistreated and abused for years. Poor Luke told me everything. Honestly, you people are despicable. You dare call yourselves parents? Is Luke at your house right now? I can come over and we can talk this through. There's no need for any rash decisions, right? No, Luke is actually here at the hospital right now. With me. What? Why? The poor boy hasn't had anything to eat for quite a few days, it seems. I brought him here so they can examine him. He's been given a drip because of how dehydrated he was. He's dangerously underweight as well. Something like 20 pounds under the average weight for his age. Luke's always been a bit on the thinner side. He's not underweight, I swear. His pediatrician even assured me that he's perfectly healthy for his age. That's strange. The doctors here are all saying he's showing clear signs of chronic malnutrition. They say the boy looks like he hasn't been eating normally for months. Possibly years. Oh, but don't get me wrong, Steph. You're not the only one that will have to answer for what's happened to your child. Where has my son been this whole time? Why aren't either of you taking care of your child? Both of you should get severely punished for what you did to this poor child. I've already made up my mind when I saw how you had treated poor Luke. I'm going to report this to the Child Protective Services. The hospital luckily offered to report you two to social services for me, so I'll be asking them to do that. You're reporting us? Please, Marie. That won't be necessary. We can discuss this privately. There's no need to go to the CPS over this. This is just a simple misunderstanding. I'm not listening to a word you say to me. You lying rat. Oh, and be a dear and tell my son that I'm reporting him for child neglect as well. I obviously don't know where that man is skulking around these days, but his days of irresponsible behavior are numbered. Marie, please. Be reasonable. You know what this will do to us if word comes out that we... Enough, Stephanie. Take some responsibility for your actions for once. I'm done talking now. I have to go speak to the nurse about filling out the report. Oh, I almost forgot to tell you. Please vacate that house you two are living in right now. I want you out of there ASAP. What are you talking about? How could you ask something like that all of a sudden? I let my son live in that house this whole time because my husband was lending it to him. But I finally had enough. I've decided that I'm done lending it to him and you. So please, vacate the home and leave immediately. What? That's unreasonable. You can't just expect us to leave our home like this. Where are we supposed to go? What's unreasonable about this, dear? After my husband passed away, I became the owner of the property. I have every right to kick you two out. I was just letting you two stay there out of goodwill. Up until now, of course. Now that I know you two were neglecting my poor grandson and staying in hotels for weeks at a time, I see no reason why I should let you two continue staying there. I don't care. You can't just kick us out on the street out of nowhere. I have a child, after all. You two barely visit the place anymore. You're always out somewhere, leaving Luke alone at home. You barely have any use for the place as it stands. Oh, and don't worry about little Luke. I'll look after him instead. I've decided I'm going to adopt and raise him. Did you really report us to the CPS? I did, yes. A social worker just arrived here to speak to me and Luke, actually. I'm waiting in a different room. The nurse and the social worker are going to go speak with Luke now about his situation. I was told family and acquaintances have to wait somewhere else so they can interview the child without any interference. Are we going to get arrested for this? I can't go to prison over this. The fact that you realize you might get arrested over this tells me you at least have some sense of awareness of what you've done. If only you'd been so concerned about the state of your own child, rather than about whether or not you're going to get arrested. You don't understand. I really can't afford to have this show up in my criminal record. No one can afford to have this show up on their record, you idiot! You and your husband both work in a field that relies on trustworthy people, don't you? Trustworthy, responsible adults. Adults that can take care of and look out for the safety of children that are about as old as Luke is. Listen, if word gets out about this, I'm 100% going to lose my job. Please understand. Dear, I completely understand. Which is exactly why I'm not letting either of you off the hook. Now, how about you tell me what you two have been doing while you left your child at home all alone? If I tell you, will you make sure we don't end up getting arrested? Promise me you'll convince the social worker and the police this is some big misunderstanding. I might consider it, if you can somehow convince me that I shouldn't have you two arrested. So tell me, why shouldn't I? 5 years ago, my marriage between my husbands started falling apart. We would constantly be getting into fights over petty things and screaming at each other. My husband started sleeping over at a friend's place, and eventually a hotel for long periods of time. I didn't want to deal with him anymore, so I also started staying in a hotel for a while. I eventually met someone at work. He helped to console me over my broken marriage, and things eventually developed into a relationship. You cheated on your husband then. You're saying your marriage was on the rocks, so you left your son to fend for himself so you could have an affair with some random man you met at work. It wasn't just me, okay? Vincent was also cheating on me that whole time. I even know who he's cheating on me with. I saw who he was texting when he left it open on the couch by accident. You were both having an affair. All the while leaving your poor child at home. My husband is having an affair with one of his colleagues. This colleague has a spouse and children too. And what about you? What does it matter? He's also cheating on me. What? You think you're beyond critique just because you uncovered your husband's affair? Do you think you're somehow better than your husband? How do you think that makes any sense? Fine. My affair partner is the father of one of Luke's classmates, okay? Wait. Are you saying that you're also having an affair with a married man then? And yet you try to put yourself above your husband's infidelity. You're both selfish, unsympathetic child neglectors. I'm sorry, okay? I guess I'll have to inform the partners of the people you were having affairs with as well, since they were both married with children. What? No! Why would you do something like that? They don't know that their partners are cheating on them, do they? It would be incredibly cruel not to inform them about this. Do you have any idea how much trouble this could cause for us if they found out? They could drag us to court over this. Indeed. Here's hoping they demand compensation for all the emotional damages you two caused. You reap what you sow, Stephanie, dear. But I can't afford for this to become a huge mess. This will ruin my life for sure. You should understand that much at least, right? Me and my husband work in education. We can't afford for our reputation to be smeared like this. We'd never be able to get a job in teaching ever again. Yes, I'm quite aware. Who would have thought two teachers would cheat on each other with a classmate's parent and another colleague at the school? And to think you were neglecting your 10-year-old child all this time as well. You might never live this down. No one will ever want to hire someone as untrustworthy and despicable as you two. I hope you're prepared for what's coming. Please, Marie, listen. I love my job. I can't afford for this to come to light. Oh, looks like the interview with the social worker just finished. I've got a few words with the social worker before he leaves. I'll speak to you again, Stephanie. Wait, come on, Marie! You don't have to do this, do you? Think about Luke! What's going to happen to him if you go through with this? Little Luke will probably be taken away from you two for the time being. Then they will come to speak to you two individually. After that, I guess we'll have to see. I obviously don't want Luke to go into foster care. He's very dear to me. I'll be asking the social worker if Luke can be left in my care instead. Marie, good luck with all that's in store for you two. What the hell do you mean, good luck? You're going to ruin my life! Luke is my son. You can't just take him away from me. I don't care what happens to you two. You dug these graves, now you get to lie in them. All I care is that Luke is safe, and I'll only rest easy once I know he has someone who cares deeply about him and his well-being. Even if that isn't me, I'd be fine with knowing he's safe with someone else. How can you be so nonchalant about all of this? It's going to be your fault if we end up on the streets after all of this. My fault? Whose fault is it that Luke was left starving at home? You should have prioritized your own son before going after some other man to satisfy your needs. I don't give a damn about you two. You've showed me exactly the kind of people you really are. I hope justice comes down hard on you. Whether you get fired from your job or end up getting arrested for child neglect. Either way, your punishment won't be enough for what you've put little Luke through. I hope you're prepared for what's coming. After that, I kicked my son and his wife out of the house they were borrowing from me. I consulted with the caseworker that was assigned to me and Luke, and it was agreed upon that I would take Luke in to care for him. While Stephanie and Vincent didn't end up getting arrested for the neglect of their child. But unfortunately for them, we live in a state where it is still legal to sue someone for committing adultery. And thus, each partner of the person they were having an affair with sued them for breaking up their marriages, and they were forced to pay reparations. Word got out at school that Stephanie and Vincent were being sued for their adultery, and the students started causing a scene with all of the name-calling and insults. Although they were employed at different schools, their employers quickly got wind of their affairs, but also the fact that they had neglected their own child, and they both had their employment immediately terminated. They finally decided on getting divorced. I'm not sure what happened to the two after that, as Vincent has always kept minimum contact with me. But I prefer it this way, to be honest. I recently finalized the adoption process, and I've now officially become Luke's legal guardian. I'm glad that I can finally give Luke the love and attention that he's been denied for so long. I plan on taking good care of him for as long as he plans on staying with me. I thankfully have my retirement money and the inheritance money my husband left me when he passed away. That said, I don't plan on sitting on my backside doing nothing all day. Therefore, I decided to start a part-time job helping out at a retirement home nearby. Since I worked as a nurse for most of my life, I'll mostly be assisting the nurses at the retirement home with basic patient care. To think I was still planning the future of my retirement just a few weeks ago. Now I'm raising another child again. But I have no regrets regarding my choice to intervene. I'm excited for what the future holds, and I want to make sure Luke is part of that future. And if he allows me to be a part of his future, then that's all the better. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to see more content.